Hello guys, it is that Panda guy. I'm here again with another video, and today we're going to be looking at the Island Raid, and we're going to be looking at hopefully G1 through 10. As you know, I try to be a bit lengthy with these, as I know people enjoy them. And yeah, we're gonna get into it. I'll be going through as many as I can, and I will try not to stumble around. And I'm sorry I haven't uploaded for the last few days. I've been just really sick, and I'm also just not feeling good in general. Like, not even just being sick, it's just I feel bad, you know. But hopefully you guys do like this video, and let's get right into it. So first we're going to start off with G1, and yeah, I also want to note something real quick. I noticed on the map, and maybe other people noticed this before me, but I noticed on the map that if you're like in the middle right here, like if you're in the middle corners, I think I actually have to look at the thing, but I noticed that being in like a corner, like depending on what corner you're in, is so freaking stupid. Because look at this, you have green here closer to purple. You have, you know, if you're on like the left side, you're closer to the top left. You're here, you're close to the bottom. It's just annoying, and I find it kind of bad for us to be put in this spot because now we're kind of gonna be building at a disadvantage. Like, this can be really annoying because I feel like these guys, you know, HMB is gonna have an advantage if they want to build into us and kind of block us off from building. That's gonna be kind of annoying, and that's what I'm guessing is gonna happen. I just find it really, really stupid of a spot. I think it might have been the same situation last time. Now that I think about it, since we were stuck in a corner, why do we get our freaking corners every time? But basically, this is Boone, HMB, you got TBZ here, you got Lost, you got AC-18, WRPG, which is RPG from Region 13, just like a bunch of alts for the most case. So this is a bit rough, even though they're like kind of biggish here. You know, you have a lot of bigger players here. You know, these are a lot of alts. Like 120 million, 2 million kills, dude. And then you just have a ton of alts here. I don't think that you're going to really see much here. You have AOW as well, and Arkham. The thing is, it's going to mostly be a fight between Boone and HMB, it seems like. I think from what I've heard, most alliances are going to go neutral, AOW, WRPG, Lost, TBZ. You know, you're going to see probably Arkham as well as AC-18 kind of helping out. I'm not sure how much help they'll be. I know that AC-18 are freaking warriors. Like, guys, I know you guys always hear me fanboying over them, but guys, I love AC-18. You know, these guys are my champs. I love Berserk Man over here. You know, all these guys, I just like them, okay? They're good friends, and overall, just good fighters. I like watching them, and just fighting beside them is awesome, you know? Arkham, I know that they can put up a little bit of a feisty fight. I don't know how much help they'll be, honestly. I think they might be better off trying to help on the field. But, you know, HMB has, like, unlimited bags, so this island could turn out anyway. We're going to have to really... We're going to have to be smart about how we build. This is going to be an interesting fight. I don't know. I think that this could go either way. I'm kind of thinking more so favorable in our situation with the you know, the allies and all that. Oh my gosh, my stomach hurts, guys. I'm sorry. G2, we have Fox 1, we have Fox 3, we have I know there's another Fox. We have Foxo here, and then we have other alliances such as MRDR, which is actually in Region 13 right now, getting pushed out of mid. So I don't really think these guys are going to be any help because, I mean, like I said, they're getting pushed out of mid on Region 13. They got clubs just stomped, and there's like 7 LG. I feel kind of sad for 7 because, I mean, dude, like 7, that's kind of rough. They don't have like a ton of whales here. I mean, honestly, I think they're doing much better than like in the past because they have a lot more 100 mil guys than I remember. Like, this is actually looking way more favorable than they've looked in the past. But, you know, 7 right here. You also have KL. I know that AOW is going to try to stomp on KL because, you know, there's just rivalries there. KL is pretty strong. They got a pretty good group. I think the issue is Fox tried to drop brackets here. You'll see Fox 3. This is generally Fox 1, you know, when they're like 8 billion right. They have a lot of whales here, but they also have bad alliance tech since they dropped into another alliance. They have just bad tech. I don't know, man. I think that this is gonna be a little bit rough. They were trying to drop brackets, and reasonably so. You know, they freaking. I think these guys have encountered ANCS like 3 or 4 times, and they get it so rough. I honestly feel for them when you're kind of constantly pitted against these guys, and you're always just stuck on helipad because of that. And I mean, then you have Foxo here, and they don't really have a ton of whales, I would say. You know, because most people abandon the actual Fox Alliance because they were trying to change up the brackets, but now these guys are in a bad spot as well because of that. Then, I mean, you have Foxo. Let me see. I think Foxo kind of has all their guys here. Shoot, my freaking thing is clicking all weird. But Foxo, I mean, they're still doing all right, right? But I don't know. In this bracket, it's kind of rough unless everybody is able to gang up on ANCS. And even then, like I said, I feel like Fox 1, for example, just doesn't have the whales to really fight on towers. Already kind of makes it hard for them other than field fighting. Nude, I don't know what Nude here is going to do. They're from Region 42. I mean, honestly, looks like a decent group with good whales, but I don't know how much. Like, I don't know how the allies are gonna go. From what I heard, it's ANCS and MRDR against the world, right? But I don't know if these guys are how much these guys are gonna fight, or if they want to fight, or if they want to go ham. We're gonna have to see that, I guess. Like I said, Fox kind of got screwed over with the alliance tech in a farm alliance, so that's kind of rough, or a shell alliance. G3, I looked at this and this looked a bit more even. I actually have a message from my big man, a series over here from Fine. So thank you to a series. I'm actually gonna check this out. I hope he doesn't mind me spilling the allies here, but I don't think he's really gonna care since everybody probably knows for the most case if I can find him. Okay, so from what I heard, it's looking like it's going to be. I'm sorry, guys. I'm freaking scrolling. Okay, so it looks like BTW, Hot 9 versus Fine, SNS, and Mob plus Fox. And it looks like Too Hot might be on that train. And, BTW is always fighting against everybody, right? Because BTW are just beasts. Like, if we're being for real, BTW are monsters. I honestly like watching these guys fight. They're a really good group. So in general, it does make sense to have most of the island pitted against them because, even like an alliance like X where, I don't think they're bad, but, you have just a massive will advantage over here. I don't think they're going to be able to do too much to BTW. I feel like they can maybe take them from the side, split them into 3 towers, for example. But if they try to do really any more than that, I feel like they'd get overwhelmed. Mob, I think Mob is probably in a more favorable situation. Mob's pretty strong, pretty good group of fighters, have a good group of whales. I mean, there's Hot 9 as well over here, fighting with BTW versus everybody else, but I mean, is I haven't heard of SNS. It doesn't look like they have whales. Is this from Region 8? Yeah, okay, so I guess they changed their name. This was Nut from what I'm pretty sure. But they don't have a lot of whales. That's like the big issue for a lot of these alliances. They're going to be really struggling to kind of spread them in towers. I mean, Too Hot is going to be a really massive help against this. I mean, you got main Fox here. Let me see the Fox, baby. Okay, 7 billion here. Yeah, I think these 3 are going to be the main contenders against maybe BTW. You might see Fox actually trying to hold down Hot here, and then you have everybody else trying to pin down on BTW. I mean, Mob is going to be honestly extremely strong. I think G3 is going to be the G1 like last time. I mean, I think G1 will still be a little bit heated with the whole Boone versus HMB thing, but I think G3 might be one of the most entertaining islands this time, and G4 as well, because G4 has a lot of these Korean alliances again, or whatever the alliances are. You have DHX, freaking beast at 7 billion might. I think, like I said last time, it might be a matter of how many towers can they spread into. I mean, their players are a lot bigger now. You have a lot more around 90 million. Maybe can do more towers. Love's changed their name to K and Qs, but Loves is still big. They're kind of balanced on might. I think that Loves just has, or K and Qs. I don't know why they changed. I think Loves was way better, but they still have a lot more whales, meaning that the tower advantage is going to be there. I know DHX and HAO actually allied last island, so I think it's very likely you're going to see DHX and HAO allying again, trying to pin down Loves. I don't know about the rest of these alliances. I know like Les F. I think this is a much older region. This is like maybe the only. Yeah, okay. Actually, no, okay. So this is from Region 95. Looks like a pretty strong group as well. So if Loves can get this on their side, they can maybe try to hold off HAO and just force a 1v1. And I think the thing is, sorry, I keep saying Loves, but K and Qs, I think that they just win in a 1v1 versus DHX. They're really going to need support from another ally like HSU. These guys look alright. I don't think they can really do too much with like the whale gaps here. Cores, kind of same situation. I don't think they have enough whales, right? Like you need people over 100 mil kind of in fights like these. This alliance is going to be in a rough spot. I mean, yeah, region 61. Okay, so these guys are the only older region here. And I mean, this is somewhat good since they will have maybe a hero advantage and all that. But otherwise, I don't see it being too big of a. I don't know. I can see them. I can see them maybe making a maybe making a pretty good difference in this bracket. Maybe holding down an alliance like this. I don't think they're. This alliance honestly looks pretty solid as well. I just like I said, I don't think there's enough whales. Like you have like 100 mil dude here. The rest are maybe 80 million, 90 million, which honestly, considering this bracket could still go into towers, but I think if you're trying to like defend towers versus someone like DHX as a leader with like full maxed out parts. Same with the guys here. These guys are just beasts. Trying to fight these guys in a tower with like an 80 mil dude who's still T5 tech or something, just gonna be really rough. You really need these whales, be garrison captaining, and I think that depending on the allies there, that bracket can be interesting. Otherwise, it might not even last for a day. Like you might see DHX on their helipad again if they can't make good allies. Next, we're looking at G5. So you got up here. I kind of self-censor myself. All right. You got one good whale here. I think, yeah, one good Deadpool here. I mean, these guys are good fighters, You got some pretty good fighters here. But I don't know if they're going to be enough in this bracket. You got Duff. I think that Duff, kind of same situation, maybe one whale. Not enough guys here. I mean, Duff's a bit bigger, but like I said, if they find someone who has just more spread power than them, that's just going to be rough. D2B, these guys just keep getting rough. Last island, they were stuck in an island with Boone, and they were stuck on, Boone and RPG, and they were kind of stuck near helipad area with just their level 6. It looks like it might be the same again, since they look like the small fries in this bracket, just no whales. I feel really bad for them, if you're watching this video. I feel bad for you guys, okay? That's just rough. I think ANCI here, it's 6 billion might. They look like they're big. And honestly, they're probably still going to be able to contend in this bracket. I see a lot of these alliances with just one whale, like one dude who's able to contend properly in towers, like Duff, Cup. You got ANCI. I mean, Grow here is probably going to be the big guys in this bracket. I think RCCO as well. Otherwise, the other alliances are going to be struggling more so. I think Sim might actually do alright. Let me see, because they're about 7 billion. They're more of a free-to-play alliance, but I mean, you got like, for example, these guys, from what I know, have recently hit tier 6. That can maybe be a bit useful. I mean, it's more so free to play. I think these are just some much older players. I can't really say too much about them. I don't know how much they fight in Island Raid. I haven't really seen them in a much bigger bracket until now, and I still haven't really watched them fight in Island. So I'd honestly have to see that. I know that Grow here though is in D21 in the past, but these guys are freaking fighters. Really organized group, and they just have a lot of whales. You can assume that Grow is going to be number one in this bracket fighter wise. RCCO probably up next, having quite a few more just bigger players here, but I don't know, man. I don't know how the allies are here, so I can't really say too much. I mean, you got Sot here. Oh, this is Soap or whatever. Okay, so they changed their name, Soap. But I mean, you got Jan here and stuff. I mean, these guys are pretty strong. I don't know how much they can do though. Like I said, just a lack of whales. If they had to fight 1v1 against Grow, I honestly can't see them winning just because they lack the numbers. And I mean, like when you hit brackets like these, I feel like whale count really matters. Or even just dolphins, if you can have quite a few 100 mil guys, like I think like when it gets to the point maybe where each alliance has 20 plus 100 mils, it's like not as impactful to have maybe a number advantage. But if it's like, for example, two versus 5, and you can't spread into as many towers like generally at all, it's kind of a rough spot. Next is G6. We're looking at FX3 first. Okay, FX3, I think that these guys are a lot. I know these guys are a lot more farmers. I don't think they take offense to me saying that. They just overall aren't big fighters. I mean, you can kind of see that from looking at their players. I think they just try to chill an island. I don't think they really care to fight a lot. So I don't really expect them to do much here. I think NWO, probably some big contenders in this bracket. NWO, freaking beastie. I mean they're definitely fighters too. I've seen these guys fight. I mean I've fought with them in the past, but I don't know. I don't know, man. I think NWO is gonna be all right though. Rain is also from Region 5, by the way, so you're likely to actually see NWO working with them, or at least giving them second if they're able to kind of overwhelm this bracket. I think the thing is, obviously RPG is the big guys here. This is like a rough bracket. I don't know how RPG is in G6 when you have some much smaller alliances and higher brackets. I don't know how these guys do it. These guys are somehow in G6 though at 9 billion might. This is going to be hard. I feel like you need to kind of align against RPG to actually win here. NWO probably going to be fighting RPG just because, they've had boon alliances. They're a big boon ally here. So I think that RPG is probably going to target them. Rain, if they're with NWO, probably going to get targeted. I think that if NW could maybe pick up Spec or something, or even I don't know about H and Z. H and Z is probably working with RPG if we're being for real. Spec though, I think if they can pick up Spec, this is very winnable. I don't know about SK and G. This is Prime in the past. They're kind of 80 members as well, but they do have like the 100 mil guys here. That's the thing. Like if they have to fight H and Z, I think H and Z, like even though they're at 5 billion might, gonna be in a rough spot with just a lack of bigger players. So holding towers or even tower fights is gonna be a bit painful. I mean, never mind. I didn't notice this dude was R1, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to. We have to see. I know MGM really just got it rough here because they're pretty big in general might wise, but they only have one T6 guy, and I think he only has infantry. That or like two tier sixes. All the players here generally a lot smaller, not really gonna be able to do too much here. Like I said, I think Region 14 is kind of similar to Region 13 with the free to play scale. Just not a lot of whales, a lot of free to play players, a lot more older players, and that just makes it rough. Like MGM, kind of one of the smaller players in that Alliance Battlefield, if you had to ask me. G7 EXEO here. Okay, if it lets me click this. EXEO, big fam. You got Smokey Boy. I don't know. I think these guys have at least two T6 here. Maybe 3 or 4. I mean, this isn't looking too bad. I'm looking at G7. SOS probably got a little bit more rough. I don't think they have any whales here. I mean, they still got some decent sized players though, from what I'm looking at so far. 42 MP and TLS, both are from Region 42, by the way, so it's likely you're going to see these two align. I think both these alliances are pretty big, although, I think 42 is just lacking players right now. They still have some good whales here, pretty good fighters, and if, they're obviously probably going to align with each other. You got a pretty good amount of whales here as well, so you're probably going to see these two standing together. It's possible they don't, if the region drama kind of prevents that, but I don't think that it'd be that bad to the point where they'd kind of stand against each other. But those two aligning gonna be pretty good. I don't know about Gods of War. They're looking alright. I think Phoenix is a fighter. I've seen his kill count. He looks like he'd be fighting. You'll probably see him running rallies or garrisoning towers. I just think that they might lack the actual, tier 6 players. Same here, maybe? Yeah. DF39, kind of just like I said, lacking T6 players. I feel like if you're fighting an alliance with 10 plus T6 players and you only have 3, you're kind of rough because all it takes is spreading you into enough towers before you can't really defend every one of those towers, right? And if you have a ton of T6 players, obviously you have garrison captains in each of those towers. I think D-Day's probably one of the stronger alliances in this bracket so far. Chevs, honestly, kind of up there. I'd say they're around 3 or 4th ranked wise. It's kind of hard, honestly. This bracket looks a little bit more balanced than some of the other ones we've seen. And I think if you see these two align with maybe one other alliance, they could honestly ally with D-Day or Chev. And honestly, they could win. I think that TLS might go for first, maybe 42 settles for second, and then you see one of these other alliances go for third. That, or they just, have 42 settle for third. I don't know. G8, I don't know, man. I don't know enough about these brackets or how the allies are going to be. G8, BGM, I think this is from Region 13 as well, and just no wills already looking at it. Like I said, Region 13 is way more free to play friendly. I don't really know how much they'll fight. I think SLF is a bit bigger here. You have DBN, kind of crazy that they're in this bracket at 6 billion. They're kind of the equivalent of RPG in G6, right? But they have a pretty good amount of whales, even though they lost two of their bigger whales, like Captain and the Shy, who came to Boone. I think that they're still going to be big contenders here because, I mean, they're honestly just big fighters, right? Like DBN, even without the Shy and stuff, I think they're going to be fine. But, in this bracket, they're going to freaking crush. From what I think I actually got a screenshot of how the allies are working. And let me find this because I'm sorry, guys, I have to. So it looks like that it's going to be DBN. Prey is going to maybe be go for their village, right? You're going to have R4W allying with DBN, so they're probably going to hold down PHX on helipad. Looks like G3R also a DBN ally here. I think SDS is going for the village and the outpost, and I guess two outposts actually. DBN's going to kind of just cut off PHX as well as SLF here. And I think BGM probably in the same spot, just stuck on their helipad, right? That's what it just looks like. BGM not really in a good spot there. I mean, what can you really do? R4W, this is from Region 14 as well, kind of relatively free to play. So, I mean, they're kind of getting helped out here. I think DBN is just going to kind of crush this bracket. This is kind of rough for any alliance here. You're kind of the whole bracket's dictated on how they choose to align, who they choose to place where, even PHX don't really have the whales to fight here. SLF probably could put up more of a fight. I know these guys are pretty strong, pretty good fighters. I've seen them fight a bit. I don't know if they've split some of their whales out of here though, because I swear SLF has some bigger players if I'm right. I'm pretty sure they do. They might have split alliances though. Yeah, I think just this bracket is solely focused around DBN, right? Just how they decide to do it, because honestly, these other alliances can't really do much, considering the circumstances. G9, I think that this is another one of the newer region brackets. I think that this is a bit more funky to me. I think that pair is going to be very situational on how they play this and how the alliances work, because the thing is, I know pair people would think of, they have the biggest whale in the whole game here, right? And yeah, that's fair. They have the 500 mil dude. He's a big fighter, but obviously, the other players here, you don't have big spenders in 107. This is generally, I would say, free to play for the most case, right? Like what the next biggest dude is 42 million might. All these guys can really do are try to fill towers. I think the 500 mil dude, if he wanted, could fill towers for a decade. I think it's really going to depend if they get sandwiched. Because the thing is, you look at an alliance like Core, they have multiple 100 mil guys. Obviously, they probably can't contend on the field as long as the 500 mil guy. But when you consider tower play, they can obviously spread more towers with more competent garrison captains. So if they had to fight 1v1, I think the 500 mil, the only case of them winning would be him running a rally, his players keeping it full, and him just doing insane swarms and just making it impossible for the average player to keep them full. But even just the average players here look a lot bigger than pair, it's kind of hard to say. ROK, I think it's in a similar situation. If I'm right, they have a pretty good whale base. They have two whales here. 90 mil, I guess that's somewhat, whalish for this region, right? But yeah, I mean, I feel like for pair, it's going to be really situational in allies, and if he's just willing to swarm towers throughout the whole event, that's really going to be it. Got, yeah, it's kind of the same. I feel like there's 2 or 3 top whales here in these alliances, and that's really how they're going to be playing tower fights. Even here, you kind of got the same situation. A lot more average players. I think obviously for these regions, you can't say these guys aren't dolphins at 70 million might. You'll notice that a lot of them have already purple or blued out gear. This is a much newer region, obviously, Region 113. Considering that it's Region 113, all these Obviously, 100 mil is much harder to get, but I mean, still, like these are whales. You know, you need T6. I feel like for these tower fights, you don't want to be fighting a tier 60 with insane gear against maybe a 90 mil guy or lower with mediocre gear. I feel like this bracket definitely a more balanced one. Kind of like I feel like G3, G4, and then G9 probably more balanced brackets, just whale based. You know, you have like 2 or 3 whales in a lot of these alliances, and even for paired, that's kind of good since there aren't like a ton of whales. You know, if like this alliance had 3 100 mil dudes, what the heck is pair supposed to do? If they're just able to spread on all those towers and keep them all full, and those swarms aren't able to do much. So I don't know, man. It's kind of rough. G10, and this is where we're gonna end off at. G10. I don't really have enough information about it. TH45. We're gonna check out these guys real quick. So they are region 48. They have 2 100 mil dudes already looking all right there. I mean, considering G10, I'm gonna assume that 200 mil guys. It's pretty good. This alliance gonna have it a bit rough if they have to fight someone like that. You know, 190 mil dude. Look at his gear. You know, blues. Wouldn't call it a big whale. Uh, you know, these other alliances, for example, even this one, 2 whales here, 3. All right. I feel like when you're looking at these brackets, you always got to look at how many possible fighters they have. And you know, if they don't have a lot of kills, obviously they're not big fighters. I feel like this alliance is maybe put in a better situation. I mean, look at this. You know, from region 50 with 12 million deaths, I'm going to assume that this dude is a type of guy to just go ham swarming towers, you know. So that's going to honestly be a bit rough to fight. You got 3-ish well players there. In M49, I know Noble's a pretty cool dude, I think. But they only got one 100 mil guy. I don't know how the allies are going to go here, right? So I'm just talking out of my butt for most of this. I think that pot is kind of in a bad spot here, even if they're 4.5 billion. Like, what the heck are you supposed to do? Like, top guy is 77 million. His gear's all right. You know, this is from region 45. I don't think that they're able to really contend much here, though, considering all in all, with all these freaking whales they're going to be fighting. Even this alliance right here, you know, they don't have the whales. I think SR58 and Pot should just 1v1 to make it fair. And then they don't have to fight these 100 mil guys. That's going to be kind of rough. Even here, I feel like they'd be better off than these two bigger alliances, right? Like, you got one whale and JKR1. So I don't know, man. I think this is really going to depend on allies and tower play. I think what is it, BL46? I think they're in a good spot, as well as, you know, their neighbor here, PXL, and then you have TH45. Overall, I think this is gonna be kind of rough bracket. We're gonna have to see. I think some of the more interesting ones are gonna be G3, G4, and then G9. I think G1's obviously going to be kind of interesting, but I think it's going to be mostly just back and forth for the most part. I don't think it's going to be honestly as interesting as people expect it to be. But yeah, I do appreciate you guys as always for watching. I do hope I just gave my analysis pretty well. You guys have a good day or night though, and I'll see you guys in the next one. That is it. Peace.